Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Matt. Today I want to talk about your language learning reflex. And so the way I think about the language learning reflex is just this idea of how quickly do you comprehend the material in front of you, right? Maybe you're listening to a podcast or a YouTube video. How quickly do you just instantaneously understand what's being said? Maybe it's also with output, like you're saying something and you want to express an idea. How quickly does it take for you to say that idea, right? And when we're learning languages, this can be pretty slow at first. And over time, as we get more competent at the language, this will naturally speed up. So if we think about our native language, right, it's very easy. Everything comes very naturally, right? You very rarely probably think about what you're going to say when you're in a conversation with someone. If you're listening to a TV show or a podcast, the understanding, the meaning probably just comes immediately. Same with reading. But with language learning, a lot of times that is not the case, especially with listening where we're trying to understand and work on listening comprehension, and we hear a word that we recognize and we try to translate it, and by the time that we've translated it, 7 other words have just been said, and now we're trying to catch up. And it's the same concept too, maybe in a conversation, you're trying to say something out loud and you have to pause for 3 seconds to say, hey, what is that word that I'm trying to say? Or how do I want to express this? Or is this grammar construction the right way? And I think it's okay, it's just important to just kind of be aware of this reflex idea and realize that it's okay to translate in your head at first. It's going to take some time for you to really understand the material naturally, and to kind of just have that reflex built just very quickly, where you can just output things very quickly. You can listen to material with ease, and the process just becomes a lot more natural. I think it's worthwhile to try to get to this place eventually where you just listen to the content and you're not trying to translate. You just kind of let the material come to you and you just process what's going on. You process the grammar structure, whether that's a complex word order or various endings. You understand, kind of the conjugations of verbs. You understand just the meaning of the sentence. But also when you're speaking, right? Like if you have a conversation partner and they ask you a question, you just say and speak the output without really even thinking about it. And just realize that this kind of reflex comes with time. It comes with just overall practice and more competency in the language, right? Obviously, you can kind of try to train yourself to not translate in your head while you're listening to something in a foreign language, or try not to obsess about every single detail while you're speaking, but just really kind of realize that this reflex is slowly being built over time, especially with listening. And if you really want that to just become more natural, listen more. That's the easiest and best solution to kind of increase that reflex, at least when it comes to listening, is just listen a ton. Because if you do that, you keep learning new words, you keep getting a better vocabulary, you have a better understanding and foundation in grammar, maybe not a grammar master, but just understanding those concepts. And you work on listening comprehension, slowly but surely, the words will become super familiar with you, where there is no translation. It's just you hear the word and it's said. You hear the word said to you and you just process it immediately. You hear it or see the grammatical structure and there's no processing needed. You just register it. And then slowly sentences start to form, and entire just kind of speeches or whatever. And at that point, you're kind of really getting close and reaching that kind of fluency stage of things. So, be okay with this reflex idea. Be aware of it. I think it's good to be cognizant of it and practice that listening comprehension. Practice all the things you would normally do in the language process, because eventually that reflex is going to get better and better, quicker and quicker, and the language will be natural to you, right? Which is ultimately what we want, right? We want to get to that fluency goal, and that starts with that reflex. How quickly do we process material, whether that's reading, listening, or speaking? And with time and enough practice, that slowly gets faster and faster and better. So let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.